Hey everyone, happy holidays and all that. Whether you had some time away or perhaps you just enjoyed the new year, I wish you all a pleasant 2024. And today, let's start things off this year with another trip into the archives of all things Mortal Kombat. I recently made videos on the best and worst characters in every MK title, but for this video, I wanted to talk about special moves or just attacks in general, because let me tell you, some of them are really bad. So bad that they are straight up unused and do not help a character in any way, and that's what I want to focus on for this video. These moves do not always belong to the worst overall character, but in my opinion, they are far too bad to ignore. We are Ketchup and Mustard, and these are the worst attacks in every Mortal Kombat game. I would say that the worst attack in the very first Mortal Kombat is kind of hard to choose, because the attacks that characters have here are, for the most part, usable in some way. The game only had a small roster and only a few specials per character. It's a pretty tidy game overall, and every character can win. However, if you were to make me choose what I think the worst attack could be, and this is going to be a surprise for some of you, I feel like it's got to be the Johnny Cage low blow. I know it's an iconic move, but in this game, it's really slow and it's hard to hit people with. In a high-level match with Johnny Cage, you rarely see it, because it just doesn't really fit that well into the meta of the first Mortal Kombat. Cage is pretty fast, right? He's got good jump attacks, good individual buttons. I mean, hell, his shadow kick and his projectile are both really fast, but his low blow? It's way slower, and it just isn't something you can realistically work into a proper match. He's still a great character. He's one of the better characters in the game, but it has nothing to do with his most iconic special attack.
Wow.
Now, Mortal Kombat.
Wow. A lot of people are going to be caught off guard by that. He's absolutely right. That move is so iconic. It's kind of hard to really picture like Johnny Cage not winning with it. I mean, I understand like according to the meta, it's not practical, but like still like, oh man, there it is. It's right there. Oh, I could have sworn it was right here. Hold on. We're gonna get it. It was literally right here. Trying to get a good shot of it. Hold on. We gotta
Slower, and
let
it
it play for like 2 seconds. Oh, it's right there. Hold on. Hold on.
it's
There we go.
way slower, and it
It's it looks fast to me. I'm trying to get a good lockdown of it. I you know what? We're just gonna keep it right here. Um, that is, it seems fast to me, but again, I'm not a professional Mortal Kombat player, so yeah, that is very, very shocking. Very shocking that his most iconic move is so useless. I'm not 100% sure if in the other games is as useless. I'm pretty sure it's not because again, when I see people do combos with Johnny Cage in pro tournaments, it's always a part of their toolbox. So we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna let the video play. I think I've interrupted the flow of this video enough with my analyzation.
easy one. Here's why. Scorpion may not be the worst character, but his leg takedown in this game sucks. It's unsafe on hit. Should his takedown actually hit them, the opponent can hit him for free if they get hit by it, usually with an uppercut or something, which in this game is really high damage. A special move that results in you taking damage for hitting them is not a good move, and it is not something you would ever want to use. It doesn't need more explaining. It is
Wow.
worthless. This next one spans across both vanilla
That is
MK3
really
and
useless.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Now, Striker's placement in the tier list aside, I know I had him as my weakest in vanilla, but his baton trip is a terrible move, and a move that some people even forget exists, even now, and there's a good reason for it. This move is pretty slow for a game like Mortal Kombat 3. It has okay range, I guess, but it's just a simple takedown and that's it. The problem is, it has zero reward, and in a game with special moves that can truly make or break some characters, it is so pointless to his game plan that it just doesn't fit how you play him. It's irrelevant in every way, and its only real use is likely a gimmick at a range that you hope the opponent has forgotten about. Even going into Ultimate MK3, I can't really think of a special move worse than this, because all of the new characters still had moves that would work for them, and even the worst ones are not as bad as this move. Going into Mortal Kombat Trilogy, it's another difficult one because I struggle to think of a move worse than the Striker takedown even in Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Even for this game, I still think Striker has it the worst.
Mm.
Mortal Kombat 4 has a fair amount of forgettable moves, but one that stands out to me all the time as a move that just doesn't work is Kai's handstand, a character you've already seen me state as the weakest in Mortal Kombat 4, but this move is honestly one of the biggest reasons for his low standing in the tier list. Now look, the move looks pretty funny, but it has a lot of setup and it just doesn't really work, to be honest. This move has a few attacks attached to it, but they leave you insanely vulnerable, and on hit, it's just a regular hit, nothing to write home about. This is an entire stance that you have to enter, which means you have to set it up without getting hit yourself, and while in this mode, the chances of you being
Wow. I mean, it looks kind of
hit are
cool.
much higher than that of the opponent. It isn't practical, it
Right.
has no substantial reward. That
It looks kind of cool, but yeah, like I don't think it's going to be effective during combat, especially if your opponent is more aggressive or they understand the frames and they can just hit you with a fireball or jump back. Or if you catch a rookie off guard, it probably is effective. Or if a high level pro player uses it, they might find a way to use it properly. But for most people, 99% of people, it's probably going to be avoided in every way, shape, or form.
that's it. It is awful. So, Mortal Kombat Gold does actually have a move that I consider even worse, and it doesn't belong to a new character. This one's more of a adjusted existing character, Noob Saibot. Noob Saibot was in the console port of MK4, but he was actually adjusted in Gold and given a new move. His Ghost Orb from the previous games, actually the move that made him so broken in Trilogy. But the reason I think it is the worst move in the game here is because it doesn't work properly. If you're player 2 and using Noob Saibot, the whole you can't block thing, and by the way, it only removes blocks in this game, the opponent can actually attack you, only affects player 2. I don't know why this happens, but I imagine it's something like the effects are only applied to player 2 or something, but it means if you're playing as Noob Saibot and you're player 2, you get the debuffs for hitting your own move. Terrible, terrible
Wow.
move that does not work as intended. It's a hidden piece of bad tech in this game because Noob in both games is actually a secret character, so most people were probably never in this exact situation to see just how bad it really was. Deadly
Hmm.
Alliance is a weird one because, honestly, any mobility-based stance ability is a hot contender
That
for
is really
worst in
bad.
the game, as
Yeah, I think
backdashing
Noob
is
has the
so
worst one
strong
so
here
far.
that all of these moves are invalidated, especially for Cyrax, who gets nothing else to redeem him, and this terrible backflip. But if we're looking at the worst moves overall, one always comes to mind, and that is Su Hao's Stomp Attack. This stomp is
Oh man.
laughably terrible. And it's a strange one, because Su Hao is far from bad in this game, he's actually pretty good. But this move absolutely is bad. I mean, just look at it. It's slow as hell, it tracks so badly, and if it lands, it has this long on-hit animation for not much damage. So what's the point? Su Hao is pretty good in Deadly Alliance, but I gotta tell you, it ain't because of this move. Deception's terrible moves are, again, in a bit of a discussion, because there are a few here. However, but this move
Suhao is always getting wrecked on. Like, excuse me, get wrecked on, getting ripped on. Like, I'm not sure what's going on with the fandom, but like they're gonna use this clip and this move as another reason to come at him. Like, so many people online applauded when in one of the Aaron Black intros. I can't remember if it was for MKX or MK11. I think it might have been 11, where Aaron Black shows up and he drops his sack of all the bounties he's collected, and inside the sack, Su Hao's head falls out, and it was considered to be one of the best openings to any character in the game because Su Hao was officially dead. Well, died again because I think he died. Everyone died in Armageddon, and then he was killed off again. So yeah, a lot of people were very very happy about that. So I'm not sure where the hate comes from as far as his character, but yeah, someone in the comment section let me know. All right, then let's move on. Let's see here. Make sure. Yeah, here we go. Right back at it.
Projectile that is kind of the same situation as Kai in MK4 and Armageddon. A vertical projectile that has poor tracking and is unlikely to ever hit somebody, even if they're slightly moving. It's one of the main reasons Kai is always a bad character, and Ashura essentially has the same move, and it is just as bad here. Slow projectiles in 3D MK are usually always the terrible ones, if not the worst ones, and Ashura, while having some okay other moves, suffers greatly with this one because it is everything that makes Kai bad, just given to her. Sorry, Ashura. This one's a little bonus because in the GameCube port that added Shao Kahn, he automatically has the worst move. Or moves, honestly. First of all, his throw doesn't do any damage, as in, basically, zero, in a game where throws are crucial to the meta. His taunts take a long time to recover, heal barely any noticeable damage, and once you've used 3 of them, you can't use it anymore. This character is so bad, and he has the worst moves in this version of the game. You can't pick just one. And speaking of terrible projectiles that are way too slow, I fear there is nothing as bad as poor old Su Hao's bouncing death in Armageddon.
Oh,
I'm sorry to pick on you, Su Hao, but take the worst possible projectile in a game like this, give it to Su Hao, you have bouncing death. I almost don't feel like I need to explain this much because you only need to take a mere second to look at it and realize just how useless this actually is. On the off
That's pretty cool. Let's he has a I think that's his heart because I believe according to the lore, he joined the Black Dragon and they replaced his heart with cybernetics. So he has a cybernetic heart and he's able to use it the same way Kano uses his eye. So that's a pretty cool move. So I guess they gave him a good move in 2 bad moves, which is the teleport jump or the stomp jump, and his projectile, which is like a Super Mario fireball. And he has a cool backstory. I believe he was like a Mongolian wrestler who joined the Black Dragon for because he had heart problems, and I guess as a to pay back the organization for saving his life, he decided to join them. I think that's how his backstory went. But someone correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But it's really really sad how much the MK fandom really destroy Su Hao like every chance they get. Like they're really, really cruel to this character.
chance I get hit by this move, it's a worse feeling than losing the round entirely. I'd go as far to say that this could actually be the worst projectile in the history of Mortal Kombat. But that's just me. When it comes to MK versus DC, Lex Luthor is already said by many to be the worst character in the game. You see, most people say either they think Lex is or Catwoman. However, in the specials department, it is another area that Lex Luthor falls pretty damn short. The main move he has that you will almost never use, and when I think of other specials in this game, I genuinely struggle to think of something worse, is his Flame Burner. A move that was borrowed from Sector before him, and would be used again by Sector in the next game of MK9. This move in this game is the worst it's ever been. It's really slow, it doesn't cover a huge distance, it doesn't have any advantage on hit, and it takes quite a while, so you're vulnerable if you miss it, which in 9 actually led to some high damage combo resets. But the final version? Trust me, it may as well not exist. It's one of the slowest moves in the game, and you're a vector in the next game of MK9. This move in this game is the worst it's ever been. It's really slow, it doesn't cover a huge distance, it doesn't have any advantage on hits, and it takes quite a while, so you're vulnerable if you miss it, which is pretty likely in this game. Lex Luthor's missiles are okay, and they can genuinely help him, even though he's a terrible character, but the Flame Burner is left in the unused category, because it does absolutely nothing to improve his game plan. Mortal Kombat 9 has a lot of moves that simply aren't that great, and maybe won't be used much. But at least if they work, they give you some kind of benefit. One move that always stands out to me that doesn't offer anything is Sub-Zero's Ground Freeze. This move in the early stages of MK9 actually led to some high damage combo resets, but the final version? Trust me, it may as well not exist. It's one of the slowest moves in the game, and your opponent has to be straight up not paying attention to get hit by this thing. It is awful in the final version of MK9, and it will not, ever, hit someone. You will watch tons of high-level MK9 Sub-Zero and likely never see this move in a tournament match a single time. It is definitely that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
now,
bad.
in Mortal Kombat X, there is one move I have always thought to be the worst in the game. And look, I'm sorry to pick on Quan Chi again. Quan Chi isn't even a terrible character overall, and this move doesn't even belong to a variation. I'm talking about Quan Chi's Sky Drop. I had some people disagree with me over what I thought the worst variation was, because I said it was Warlock, and look, that's totally fair, especially with this game having so much stuff. But here, seriously, the Sky Drop is dreadful. This is a move that was designed to be Quan Chi's only armored escape, but it's pretty slow on startup, it has horrendous tracking, and its ability to get hit on the way down made it something that you're taking a huge gamble to even execute. But there's not even a secured situation that it's actually going to hit the opponent defensively. You are lucky if this thing even connects, and you have to spend your meter to do the armored version. So you're losing more than health if it inevitably gets hit by a string or a jump in, or if it just misses them altogether, which is a common scenario. This, for me, is the worst move in MKX, but by all means, feel free to disagree.
Ooh.
Mortal Kombat 11 has its fair share of awful moves. I wonder if that's the nature of there being so many to choose from in the customization. I mean, the Rambo Eat move, the Kotal Khan Anti-Air, the Melina Charge, which replaces the Bull Roll. There's a ton of moves that could be the worst, and choosing an absolute bottom of the barrel might be kind of hard for people to agree on. But one move in particular I truly do not understand why it exists is Raiden's Rolling Thunder. This incredibly slow-moving cloud is active for a set time and will deal a small bit of damage over time if the opponent stands in it. The amplified version.
Are you serious? This, at first I was going to say it was Lex Luthor's flamethrower. But this right here is by far the worst move I've seen so far. The worst of the worst. This is even worse than Sue House Fireball. This is even worse than what was that other move? Um, oh man, it's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to me. Uh, what was it? What was it? It's gonna come back to me. Was it the ice? Nah, it was another one that I saw that. Oh, this is even worse than Kai's handstand. This is even worse than Kai's handstand. This right here, Raiden's move right here, this is the worst, absolute worst move I've seen in the entire video. 120%. I don't know why they would even consider putting this in the game. Like, not even put it in the game, like, even like as they were like brainstorming, no pun intended, brainstorming ideas. Um, they should have been like that. This is just an insult to the fandom. We're not going to do
Version
this.
lasts a bit longer, but this little cloud that moves at a snail's pace is truly one of the few moves in the game I look at, and I just think, why? Raiden's game plan does not lend itself to prolonged setup, and because of how this move works, you'd pretty much need to set it up to get any use out of it, which would mean cutting combo damage short most of the time, with a character fairly dependent on equipable moves to get said combos going. In all of my time commentating MK11 for 4 years, I did not see this move once in tournament play. Not once!
Me either. I didn't even know it existed. I
Okay,
didn't know
and
this
here we
existed.
are with the most recent Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 1. The thing is, most of the moves in this game do not really fit into the categories I've kind of set myself for this video. It's rare to find a special move that is as bad as many of the moves listed in this video. However, there are still a few in there that just aren't that great, and moves you will likely ignore for a whole match, and with that, I have found some contenders. You see, if we wanted to look at one individual attack that is truly worthless, you have to look towards Shujinko cameo and the moves that he steals. Most of them are totally serviceable, but some characters have moves so awful you will never use them, not a single time. Moves that come to mind belong to his worst matchups, such as the Nitara Leap, which is 2 of your cameo bars for no benefit. Or, even worse, the Kung Lao Spin, which is again both cameo meters, and it does nothing of value. But I fear they may be too specific and situational because they only belong to a specific matchup. So instead, here is the move I feel is the worst thing in MK1 across the board that you could technically use in any match. Kano's eye laser cameo is absolutely awful, and would you believe it was actually buffed in the Quan Chi patch. It hits mid now, and it does a bit more damage, but it still is for me the worst move in the game that anyone could use in any given match. First of all, it's a summon, so you're stuck in place. That's not normally a problem, but it has slow startup and does very little for you on hit. This move has the feelings of those older MK games where an attack has a lot of risk attached while having zero value when it actually hits the opponent. And unless it's right at the end of a round or something and
It
last
looks
breath
cool.
isn't available, it's mostly unused. I see it come out more by accident than on purpose, and it is for me the worst attack in the game currently, even after it being technically stronger in the latest balance patch. And that's my list for the.
Wow. So, in my personal opinion, it's a tie between the Raiden fart cloud and yeah, the Raiden fart cloud, and the Lex Luthor flamethrower. Those are the two worst moves I've seen in this entire video. Um, let me bring it back real quick. I'm turning off the sound. Like, see, look at that range. This thing has no range. It's like he's shooting red dust. It doesn't even really look fire. That is just so bad. That is so bad. At least the fart cloud has a chance of hitting you. This also technically has a chance of hitting you, but you have to be like your timing has to be immaculate to hit that. But the fart cloud, like, if you're within range, if you like get a little close, at least it can hit you a little teeny tiny bit. But this right here, like, look what's happening here. That is so bad. That is so bad. So I honestly believe that the Lex Luthor flamethrower is like the worst of the worst. Let me see. Yeah, the Lex Luthor flamethrower. This move right here is the worst move in the video. Second only to the Far Cloud. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Um, please don't destroy Suhao. Leave him alone. He's been through enough. But I do want to hear what you believe the worst moves are, or worst move is in the entire video. This is my vote for the worst move. Like this flame this flame thrower move is just so bad because not only does it lock you in place, but it has no range. And I'm not sure what the hitboxes are, but it has to be just as bad. At least with the Radiant Fart Cloud, you can activate it and just keep on moving around. This you're locked in that animation. So yeah, yeah. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Um, Be civil. Also, let me know what your favorite Mortal Kombat game was. I've been on Act Clear. You guys have been amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right.